Here is the user interface for the currency exchange market. When selecting the currency you have, it will consider your inventory and a number of your stash tabs, so you don't need to move it out of your stash to your inventory first.
Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So obviously one of the mechanics that I enjoy playing and that also makes me my early currency every league is Delve. We're in Delve right now. For anyone who hasn't played Delve, it's basically an infinite loot dungeon, if you want to call it that. So you start off pretty early on, you work your way down, the deeper you go, the more crazy you get, the more the loot drops. And yeah, there's a few bosses in here that have some very specific targetable uniques that also usually sell for quite a bit, and we'll talk about that in this video. And yeah, basically my argument around this being the greatest mechanic is it is the greatest mechanic. So, enough said. But yeah, anyway. So the idea behind this video is to give you a bit of an advantage at the start of League. So pretty much we're going to talk about some of the patch note changes. How to make currency in Delve, which tends to always be a big one. There's 3 particular strategies, and I'll put links to all of my videos in the description below as well. Around this, I've been making a lot of content on Delve for a very long time. Sustaining Sulphite, so that usually is a question that people ask me a lot. What are biomes and cities, and why are they important? Special drop nodes that I tend to look for in Delve as well, that tend to drop a few things that are notable and worth a little bit on the market in the first week or 2 of League. How you set up your Voltaxic generator, which is this thing here. So you might be wondering how you do this, so I'll talk about that. When you can start Delve, and what is the best Delve depth to get to. So that is asked a lot. When do I start in the mapping process? How do I, in particular, start delving? I sort of do it a little bit hybrid, but I'll talk about that. And basically, delving for map completion early on, we'll talk about that as well, because that's really interesting. And if you're not very good at getting map completion, Delve is a great way to achieve that. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into the video, and let's have a chat about it. Okay, so the first thing off the rank we need to talk about is changes in the 3.25 patch notes. So I did a video on this the other day, but basically I'll slap them all on screen and let's talk about them really quickly. Okay, so the first change was to change perfect fossils to opulent fossils, and this was basically a move from GGG to remove the ability to craft quality on items from Delve. The second change was the Adorned Unique Jewel no longer has 150% cap and caps out at 100% moving forwards. So this could have an impact on the Curiosity of the Val, but we're not entirely sure. We don't know what the impact of this truly is going to be. From initial things that I've seen ticking around from different people, Adorned may actually be more powerful because of the baseline changes to a lot of skills and abilities, but that's soon to be seen. The next thing was they removed physical damages taken modifiers, so that no longer drops from Delve specific items like helms and whatnot. So having fractured helms with that modifier is no longer an option, so we lose a bit of currency there. Also, the boss exclusive divination card called the Friendship Divination card has been re-enabled. This allows for All's Uprisings to be gained outside of Delve, but again, we're not sure how difficult or rare this is. And finally, Steve broke Delve, so they fixed Delve at the super deep depths, so you can no longer freely run through darkness. Okay, so the next thing you should know about Delve is how do you make currency in Delve? Well, I've done a number of videos, and I'll put them in the description as well around this. But the basic ways that I make currency out of Delve, and it's quite efficient. And in fact, with the new currency exchange, it's going to be incredibly efficient because there's now a Delve currency tab, is fundamentally number 1, going into Delve and farming the Azurite cavities. Now, the reason why we do this is we bank up Azurite and we can go and talk to Nico, as we can see on the screen, and then we can just bulk buy resonators and sell them for a bulk price on the market. The other way that we make currency is by selling fossils. Now, this is my standard cache, but we'll see all these fossils in here, and this is yet another way. Now, as you delve through and you do darkness and things like that, these will become apparent and you farm these. Again, you'll be able to put these up on the exchange and you'll be able to offload these really, really efficiently. Now, obviously, different fossils have different prices, and I've got the list over here of what they were worth during the last league. So, Faceteds being 135C a fossil, Glyphics being 53C by the end of the league. We had Fractures at 17. Perfects will no longer be in the game, and I think they're now called Opulent Fossils, but we don't know what they're going to be valued at. basically imagine when these drop, you get anywhere up to a stack of 3 to 5 of these dropping at a time. So if you had 3 shutterings, that's 30C. This is one of the reasons why Delve is a really lucrative source of early income when you're playing PoE. Resonators, so you know your prime chaotics, which is your 4 sockets were like 60C, 3 sockets were 5C each, and your single sockets were 1.5C each, and they sort of went up in value before the end of the league. Now the reason why these weren't very good in the previous league to sell in bulk was because of all flames of sulphite, which are now no longer in the game. There's speculations between whether or not the currency exchange will create an efficiency that will drop the market out. The reason why I don't believe that that's going to happen is you still need to have the supply to be able to meet the demand. And unless magically more people are going to start playing Delve overnight, maybe they'll watch this video, then I can find that very hard to believe that it's just because we're going to have more efficiency, the price of resonators are going to drop. If anything, as the player base goes up, and with Delve being a primary crafting meta in pretty much every league, unless it's a crafting league, and this is not by any exception a specifically heavily geared crafting league that we know of so far. It does have rune crafting, but that's totally different. Then it's most likely the fact that Delve is probably going to be quite profitable, in particular with bulk selling resonators. If you want to know more about this, I have a whole video. It'll be in the links in the description. The other way that we make currency in Delve is, quite frankly, some of the unique drops. First of all, Curiosity of the Vow. This is one of the pieces that drops from the Architect in Delve, and Architect spawns at, I think it's like depth 60, something like that, so it's pretty easy to get to it. And basically, yeah, these were selling from anywhere up to, they capped out at like 36 div. On average, they were selling from 16 to 18 div per sort of run through, or per drop. And beyond that point, basically what they're used for is to craft the instance to allow players to farm the Adorn. Now, obviously, in the first part of this video, the Adorn's been nerfed, and we don't know what the impact of that is going to have in the market. This will either increase the price of these or decrease the price of these. Don't know, depends on what people craft and build in meta builds and things like that, and whether or not Adorned is abused this league as it was last league, or if it's not as sort of heavily used in builds, because builds are a lot more playable without it. That being said, Adorned is still quite powerful because all the upper end on skills have been buffed, so Adorned's been brought down, so that sort of meets in the middle. Adorned is still going to be a really great way to make crazy builds and things like that. But this is another way that you can make currency. The other way that you make currency is through All's Uprisings. So this shows a really superficial role, but you can get things like Envy generally is worth a lot at the start of the league. It used to be used heavily with Poison SRS builds. Things like Pride. Pride is probably going to be, Pride and Determination are probably going to be the two most expensive roles on this. And basically what this is in this item, you get a free aura. So I've just pulled the wiki up here. So basically, yeah, you get a free aura that's given to you, like a total aura. And so you can get Haste is going to be worth a lot because of melee builds. You're probably going to find Pride's going to be worth a ton because of bleed and melee builds. Determination's going to be worth a lot. Grace probably not so much. Lightning builds would be Wrath. Zealotry's probably not going to be worth as much, so I'd be looking out for Pride and Determination. They're probably going to be the two biggest roles that you're going to get. And then obviously you've got level 15 Envy, which is increased flat chaos damage, which used to be the best one that you'd sell these for anywhere up to like 50 div in a league. And yeah, they were quite chonky on the price side. But yeah, this is another item that you can farm. The other thing that you can farm is Machinariums. So these drop from Architects. So these were selling for up to 140 chaos. They're actually selling for a lot more than that during League. I think they got up to a few div. Was it got high point here? Yeah, no. These were selling for anywhere up to like 2 to 4 div at one point during the League. And then also beyond this, the other items that you get out of Delve will also be Crown of the Tyrant. So if we type in Tyrant, these drop off the Crystal King or all. And these were selling, again, this price is low point. These were selling for a few div as well during League as well. So there's a few things that drop off the bosses that are worth quite a bit. and are worth farming. You also get the Voices card that drops from the Crystal King as well, but I don't think that's where the currency is going to be. I think you're going to find Pride and Determination and Haste. All's Uprisings are going to be the most lucrative. The other thing that also drops from in Delve are Precursor Rings, or Precursor Emblems, or the 3 components that build Precursor Rings. These are incredibly well sought after with really good rolls. If you're doing things like Endurance Charge or Frenzy Star Charge stacking, Precursor Emblems of Ruby and Sapphire are going to be worth an absolute mint. I think in past leagues I was selling +1 Frenzy Rings for like anywhere up to 30 to 50 div. So these are some things to keep an eye out that drop just straight up in Delve, or these actually drop as part of a crafting recipe. But if you watch my Delve guide in more depth, these are things to look out for and farm from the bosses. Okay, so the next thing you're probably going to ask is, well, how do I generate sulfite? It's actually really easy. So a few leagues ago, they basically added in the new Atlas nodes for Delve in particular. So we're just in the live game here, and this will just point them out. So basically, if you're running all your Delve nodes in here, so +8 chance, +8 chance, +8 chance, and then basically you have these nodes down here, and I've got a link to my Atlas trees in the description and below as well, so Frantic Mining, and obviously I've decoupled because the game is reset, and then basically, yeah, you pick up all these additional sulfite quantity nodes here. You get more sulfite here. You get buffed from Pack with Energy, which has been changed to a 60-second cooldown timer. And then basically come up here, you pick up all these extra Delve mission nodes here and sulfite infusion. As you can see, perfect example, Curiosity of the Vale, really, really, really valuable. So it's weird, I've got them listed for 5 in my standard stash, but they should be worth a lot more. And then basically, sulfite infusion allows you to get more sulfite per map. And then the other thing that you need to do is also chisel your maps to 20%. That'll increase the amount of sulfite as well. Superficially, that's how it's always worked for me. Okay, so the other thing you'll need to do with maps is you will also need to run Sulphite Scarabs of Greed now, because these give you 150% more sulfite on top of everything else. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, of Fumes has been changed, but it's relatively irrelevant. So all flames are no longer in the game. As far as we're aware, there's no other way to get sulfite. I estimate based on T16 map completion with sulfite scarabs agreed. And the other thing we also do is we run sacrifice of dusts as well, stack them up, and they increase your map quant along with your quality as well. And from my understanding, unless they've changed it, that results in a little more sulfite that you get within the maps as well. If you do all of that, basically you should be able to get a full, I think anywhere up to 40 to 50,000 sulfite within, say, 4 to 5 maps tops. So between every single run, you'll be doing 4 to 5 maps in just standard mapping to be able to gain sulfite to then go down into Delve, which will buy you anywhere from 30 minutes to maybe 50 minutes in Delve. It's definitely less efficient than previously, but it works fine. What may actually will tick up in this league may actually be rotors again. So there used to be a thing called Delve rotors, and I'm pretty sure there's a rotor channel. I've never liked doing Delve rotors personally, but basically if you get a group of people and you go into a map, you get an increase to the quant that drops as far as sulfite goes, and everybody banks up a lot more sulfite. Or you just do a rotor and everyone puts in a single sulfite scarab or whatever, and basically you get a ton of sulfite that way and much more affordable. What this might also mean is, depending on how popular Delve is, it may or may not be popular, sulfite scarabs may go up in price. However, because they've changed the currency exchange, and hopefully we should be able to get scarabs through the currency exchange, didn't really think about that actually. What that actually means is it should be really easy to get sulfite scarabs now, because you're just going to be able to click a few buttons and get the sulfite scarab straight away, instead of having to go and hit 20,000 different people and trade manually, which is how it used to work in the past. So realistically, it should be quite efficient to Delve. In fact, Delve should be one of the most liquid currencies on the market. Essences would be second to that. I would say essences are going to be really lucrative as well with the currency exchange trader. So a combination between those two, you're probably going to make mad bank early on, and this is definitely going to be what I'm going to be doing to make my early currency. But that's more or less how you're going to sustain sulfite in Delve this league. Okay, another thing I'll put a link in the description to will be Delve Biomes. So basically, you don't just get any old fossil drops in any old biome. And when I say biome, basically it's the different colorations within Delve. So if you were to go into Delve, into the map, what you'll notice is, so say we go to like depth 600, right? All these color patches are totally different biomes. They all have different modifiers. So like in this case, this is Frozen Hollow. We get Time Lost in Frozen Hollow and places like that. You usually get magma chambers in Magma Fissure. Sulphite vents have different things like humid fossils and whatnot. So you can see Time Lost just on the edge here. So basically, your biomes dictate the different drops that you get in Delve, right? And understanding biomes can also help you target what you actually want to farm. So in this case, biomes here, the fossils that will actually mean something. Serrated will likely be worth quite a lot because of melee builds. Opulent, we've already got information here that they'll drop in fungal caverns. And then basically, you know, bound fossils for minions, for example, will drop in abyssal depths and a few other different locations. Shuddering, which are speed fossils, these will likely go significantly up in price, will only drop in your frozen hollows. Sanctified, so this will drop in petrified forests. You get the picture anyway. So basically look out for the different biomes that you're farming. Now, the three key biomes here are Val Outpost, Abyssal City, and there's also the Crystal King's domain as well, which is Primeval. And basically that's going to be where your bosses have the potential to drop. So if you're in Delve and you are, I wonder if they're after that. Yeah, they're really popular still. So basically, if you're looking for the bosses, right, if you're looking for the boss biomes, you'll see basically they're covered in like a golden sort of thing. And as you can see, there's a boss there, there's a boss there. They do drop quite frequently, and this is like depth 567, so it's not too bad of a depth. And yeah, you farm the bosses, you get good drops. See? Another city biome. The other big advantage is farming cities, but we'll talk about that shortly as well. Okay, so another thing to keep in mind is special drop nodes in Delve. So it's not just all about fossils and resonators and Crystal King drops, right? There's a lot of really cool stuff that drops in Delve. So, for example, if we were to look at, let's go down into the depths. If we were to look at these curse nodes, right? So it contains mana or curse items, and that might be curse rings, that might be items with plus curse or additional curse. They could have any number of things. These are only items that will drop in Delve in the nature that they do. They're basically affixes that only populate in Delve, and this is why Delve is really special. The other thing are, for example, elemental nodes. So you'll also see in here animalistic nodes as well. So things like your crab, crab or Farrell's fur rolls or avian and things like that. These all drop in these animalistic nodes, and for this league, it might actually be extremely valuable because they're unique auras and craftable on gear. And then the other thing would be like your fire nodes or different things like that. So if we can find an elemental node, they usually populate pretty consistently, but I just can't seem to see them. So chaos items, renegade camps, right? So you'll only drop chaos items. Now this could be despair on hit rings, things like that. Same applies with physical items. Now, melee league, this would be things like vulnerability, curse with vulnerability on hit items potentially as well. I don't know yet, but it's very likely that some really cool stuff will drop in here and consistently. That will be of high value this league because melee is going to most likely be the key meta. It's going to flip Delve on its head compared to what it was previously. Now, the other big thing that drops in Delve that you should keep an eye out for is fractured items. So basically a fracture on an item is a roll on an item that cannot be changed, and as a result you can craft anything you want. Imagine if you got a vulnerability on hit ring with that was fractured. So for example, you'll see on this item that we have in front of us a yellow roll. That's a fractured roll. These specifically drop in Delve, and if you get the right fractures, they can be worth a lot. Previously it was physical damage taken as, but realistically, if you had, for example, a Convoking Wand with minions are aggressive on it, that's an easy 70 plus div, right? That's one of the best rolls you could get. +1 Spectre chests also drop in Delve, so you'll see in Delve minion nodes, for example. So this is a Necromancer node, for example. So there is a potential that a +1 Spectre chest could run in this node. And if you got one of those and they were fractured, again, worth an incredible amount of currency. What I'm basically saying is Delve has some really fantastic target nodes that you can farm outside of just currency or fossils and things like that. You can make a lot of bank from just targeting these nodes and getting really good like corruption on hit, getting really good fractured rolls, or getting really good modifiers like vulnerability on hit, things like that. All of these things will be worth quite a bit of currency this league, I would predict. So Delve is going to be very lucrative again, just in a totally different way that it hasn't been in very many number of leagues. In fact, this could be one of the best Delve leagues, thinking about some of the things that roll in Delve for melee that we've seen to date. Okay, so the next thing you might be asking from a league start scenario, what do you do, or what do you level up first when you look at your Voltaxic generator, right? Which is this thing that we clicked on here. Now, number one, I would hit a couple of nodes into Sulphite capacity the first time you get into Delve, I think from, was it Act 3 or so? Yep, Act 3. And then basically you want to upgrade your darkness. You want to then upgrade your light radius early. Then you want to focus on your light radius that's on your flares. You're going to need this like early on. And then you basically want to alternate between the three until you balance them up and get them to 75. But you need to get your cap up first so that you can delve more. And then if you start to find it a little hard in Delve, darkness resistance, light radius early up. And then you start adding in more flares, and then you add in more dynamite over time. Don't be fussed about getting damage and radius on dynamite earlier on, and duration on flares is just like meh. You can get that later down the track. But so just to rehash, you want to focus on sulfite capacity, number one. Number two, darkness resistance. Number three, light radius. And then alternate between those, maybe say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you want to go, oh, I need light radius on my flares. So do that as like 4. Add some more flares in, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? Follow that sequence. That should get you through your early leveling of your Voltaxic generator. Okay, so the next question I get a lot is, when should I start delving, right? So I do a bit of a different strategy than what most people do. So I will actually go down in about Act 8. Okay, so you'll first get access to Delve when you go to Act 4, when you go to Highgate, and then basically when you go to the mines, which is the first like zone. So if we run out here, we walk up to this area up here, you'll see Nico is standing outside the mines. This is the first time that you'll get access to Sulphite, and you'll touch on Sulphite again a few other places in the campaign, but this is not when you should start delving. When you should start delving will be around Act 8 or 9. Usually what I actually do in about Act 9 is when I'm trying to buff my level up early, or Act 8, I'll go down in the delve, get a little bit of early currency from about Act 8, and then basically, and to know where you need to push in delve. So if we were to go down into delve in Act 8, right, we're probably going to be like, what, level 55, something like that. So then I would go up, and basically this column here will level up with your character. So it'll push down to a certain level. So monster level 66, 65. So basically when you first go into delve, you're going to go into the mine, and you're going to have to clear the first few areas, right? And so what you want to do with that is you want to go straight to like an azurite cavity if they appear before you, and you want to get some early azurite to unlock your first sort of capacity point on your Voltaxic generator. And then beyond that point, you then just follow the mine shaft down based on the level that you're at. So level 40, 42, 44, 45, 46, right? 48. Say we're only like level 60. You can see where I've just diverted off to start farming some early delve to level up and get some currency, and you'll find pretty much straight away you'll get chaos drops and stuff like that in delve. It's just one of the best currency generators from a consistency standpoint. A lot of people really hate on delve because number one, they don't like delve, number two, they don't understand delve, and number three, they say you don't earn enough mirrors out of delve. But the reality is, early on, delve is just a currency printing machine at a very steady rate, and it's quick convertible currency as well. Things like resonators and stuff like that almost sell straight away on the market, and so it's easily accessible. The other thing is you get access to a lot of other drops in delve that may not drop quickly enough for you in other areas of the game. So as you can see, I sort of probed at about level 58, and then I go across horizontally in delve and basically push the delve column as far as I can take it before I go back and keep farming the campaign. and then I get to about Act 9, 10. Once I complete Act 10, I then alternate between maps and delve until I'm basically leveling my character up and I'm able to sustain delve a little more, and then I just continually alternate between the two. This is also how I get my early map completion. So the answer to when you should start delving, you should start delving number one when you start delves. You can pretty much start delving straight away, and I alternate between from say T1 to T3 maps and delve constantly. And when you see me on stream, you'll see me doing this. And the other thing that I do while I'm doing this is I'm looking to farm to get the cities, because then we'll talk about early map completion and how delve can help you really press your atlas earlier on. And there are particular biomes that have a very high proclivity to drop maps more than others, and we'll talk about in the next area. But yeah, so basically from about T1 to 3 maps, you can really start alternating between delve a map, delve a map, delve a map, delve a map. And then as you grow your capacity more by hitting more azurite nodes, and you want to hit as many azurite nodes as you can, you go back to your Voltaxic generator, right? So we'll go back up into the mine, and we'll go, okay, boom, 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 hit some points into there, hit some more into darkness res, hit some more into light radius. Then you go back down to the delve and keep pressing your points until such time that you can start to sustain delve. In the meantime, as you level up your atlas, if you follow my atlas guide, if you follow the delve nodes in particular, so you take this column up here, take these delve points over here, you can also take these delve points here, you go straight to here and straight to here, you'll get early access to delve. Almost every single map will have delve on it if you do this exact strategy of hit all these plus 8% nodes, or plus 8% chance nodes on your atlas. You'll get to the stage very quickly in your early progression of your atlas where you'll get 100% delve in every single map. You'll be able to generate sulfite really quickly and efficiently, and then you can almost pseudo live outside of delve and your mapping system. But that's more or less my strategy, and then I do a little bit of early delving around Act 8 or so just to prop my character's level up. It's super efficient early on. I don't recommend necessarily farming delve early on. I just do it because I can. Realistically, if you wanted a different response there, don't start delving until you get to your T1 to T3 maps and you get your resistances capped, right? Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time in delve. There's a lot of elemental damage in delve, and so it'll really clap your character. So there's a few conditions that need to be met before you can efficiently delve. If you want to delve a little earlier, start in Act 8, and then basically just alternate, use whatever sulfite you can, get some extra early currency, and then go back up and finish the campaign and your ascendancies and whatnot. Anyway, that's basically my advice to starting out in delve. It's not just you start delving hard, you alternate between until you get comfortable with both maps and delve, and you're progressing them equally as efficient, and then eventually you taper off the maps and you increase the amount of delve that you do as you go into your T16 map rotations. And that's basically it. That's was it tip number 7? Okay, so the next tip I'll give you is how you get early map completion. So simplistically, the way that I do this is I look for early cities, right? It doesn't matter what cities. Usually like your architect, not abyssals, but your architect's ruins, right? Your Val ruins, for example, are going to be the most lucrative here. Primevals are very good as well. So say we did this. This is at about depth 100, and you can achieve this pretty early. I've got a fully endgame spec character here, by the way. So yes, I'm very well aware this is not a league start character, but this is very similar to what you would do anyway. So basically, you would run to your city node, right? My computer is a little choppy at the moment. This is detonate dead. It's probably getting nerfed. I'm totally aware of that. But and by the way, if you're mapping right and you're looking for your biomes, always keep an eye. I haven't got any dynamite on me, so I can't show you yet. But yeah. Right. So okay. So we run to the node. So you can open up chests if you want. Usually the most efficient path is just to bolt through. Darkness farming is totally different to what I'm doing here. And then you'll get to your city nodes, right? And these are the nodes that matter early on if you can find them, because this is how you're going to get easy map completion. So basically you're going to run in and we're going to hope that they got cartographer's chests, right? So easy currency. Right, we didn't get anything of crazy value there. So we'll go check the other side. And also you'll see you get early regret orbs, early currency, and things like that are going to be worth a mint on the exchange if you can convert that early on. So we'll hit this node and see abandoned charts. right? And there's your maps. Okay, if you're really lucky, you'll get 2 or 3 of those. Now imagine that with all the biomes you get, a lot of the times it doesn't link to the maps that you've got in your atlas. It just drops whatever maps are at that level. So if you do hit a plateau where you're struggling to get your map completion up because you're not getting map drops in maps or something like that, go down in the delve, find some ruined cities, and farm the cities. The cities will drop a absolute ton of maps. This has happened every league for me, and it's going to contribute to the easiest level of map completion you're going to get. The other thing that you'll also get from cities are horizon orbs. They're going to drop pretty consistently. So we'll just do this next node as well to show you exactly what I mean. So we'll run to this next node. I'm going to misdetonate dead. It's super efficient skill for stuff like this, but this is like not of any value realistically at the end of the day because you don't make enough currency out of this. So basically you're going to run down, hit the city, go into the primeval chamber. You'll see currency just drops all around you, which is fantastic. So then we run up, okay, bam, bam, heap of currency, yep, all, oh, more charts, more maps, bam, map completion. Easily done. And then we go up the other side. Fingers crossed we get some more maps up the other side. This is a really good way to get red tier maps. So again, abandoned riches. Oh, more currency. Pocket of gold. Nothing there. Nothing there. So we didn't luck out. We didn't get double maps, but we still got a cluster of maps. This is one of the easiest ways to basically get your map atlas completion done. And if you wanted my strategy of how I get my atlas completed so quickly in a league, this is exactly how I do it. I would say most delvers would be pretty much the same. It's why when you play Delve, you're not worried about map completion because map completion is easy. You end up sitting on like stacks and stacks of maps. And the other thing is when you hit your favorite maps in your atlas, for example, favored maps, the favored maps are also the preference maps that drop in Delve. So if it was Crimson Temple or Strand, in my case, I always play Strand. I always end up with a full stash of Strand maps pretty much in the first week because I have no issues farming maps in Delve. Delve is just like pure map drop galore. So basically then I would just be looking for any other nodes. So you would be hard pressed. I'm probably going to get maps from every single one of these nodes. I'm probably going to get maps from every single one of these nodes. I'll probably get maps from this node here. Let's go test it. Let's test my theory, see if I'm full of bullshit. So we'll run this node as well. Bam. So this shouldn't take long. Murphy's Law, I won't get maps on this one, but we'll see what happens. So we go on the node, we hit it again. Riches, boom. Currency, pretty much everything that you want, free chaos. And it drops like big clustered stacks of chromes and stuff like that, so if you're crafting your character. Riches, oh, there we go, more maps. 100%. Almost 100%. Anyway, that's how you get early map completion using Delve. It's super efficient, super easy, and I think we're at like depth 186, which is pretty achievable for most characters as you start to gear up. But even earlier on, these biomes appear pretty much from, I think it's like depth 60. So you'll see they pop up here. They basically pop up all the way through. You just got to keep an eye out for them as you're leveling up. But yeah, there's also Atlas nodes in Delve as well. They have like a little Atlas map sort of sextant thing on them. And you'll also get guaranteed map drops from there too. So just some things to watch out for. But Delve is really, really, really good at getting early map completion. And it's what I use as my map completion strategy every single league and have so for the last however many leagues. Okay, so fingers crossed this is a good compendium of early tips. Now, this isn't like a comprehensive guide to everything you need to know about Delve. If you want to see that, I'll put the links to that in the description. I've done a number of videos about that. If you want my delving strategy for how I make currency, it's my 300 to 350 depth horizontal, basically boss rush strategy. I'll put a link to that in the description below. There are some deep delvers out there that have done some good guides. So for example, I'll put a link to Connor Converse or One Mana Left. He does really good guides around Delve and he just runs insanely crazy deep delve characters. And Travik's done a really good guide around deep delving as well. So I'll put a link to that as well. Nothing's really changed around those things. Obviously, like the deeper you go, the harder your content is going to be. So the better the character you need. And those players are basically printing mirrors at the deepest ends of delves. For my strategy, If you want the most consistent depth that I sit between is around 300 to 600. If you want a really good depth for bossing, is about 700 if your character can take the bosses down, knowing also that from time to time you're not going to be able to basically take bosses down after 600 easily if your character's not geared up well enough, or if you don't have things like mage blood and stuff like that. If you want to push down from about 650 to 700, with a pretty average level character, you really need to start going into mage blood territory. So again, just refer to my 300 to 350 depth strategy for that. And yeah, that's basically all the stuff that I can think of off the top of my head on an early league start scenario that you should know about Delve. Please watch the videos that I've done in the past. I think one's exactly 1 hour long, and it's about as much information as I can cram into an hour. But anyway, hopefully this video helps you on your path to becoming a Delve master. And yeah, if you like this stuff, don't forget to like and sub to the channel. I'll be live streaming on Twitch in Delve pretty much as soon as I can, and my Shield Crush Jug particularly is designed around delving, usually about 500 to 700 depth. And yeah, I'll see you guys first thing in the morning for league start. Anyway, have a good one, and I'll see you guys later.